I'm a bad boy with some pretty shoes and keys I never use. I'm a bad boy with a nut of love. I put under your door. I'm just a bad boy for you. You see me all I'm just a bad boy for you. I'm a running boy with no time to love. Cause I belong to my shoes. I'm just a bad boy for you. I'm just a bad boy for you. I'm just a bad boy for you. You see me all
And we are live for the one and only real Flat Earth Friday. How are you doing this evening, brother?
I'm great. I'm looking forward to tonight, and we're going to be talking about our models.
Our models. How's that sound?
Our models.
Right? Did you make it? Did you make these models, Ron?
No, but they accurately describe everything that I have tested and verified as reality.
Yeah, and well, they've got some interesting things taking place, like luminaries coming in and out of a plane, the plane that you stand on. So we have for a long time, I mean, it's been almost 8 years now that we had the Andrew Marsh model, which shows the sun accurate to 100th of a degree per second anywhere on Earth, any day of the year. And it shows the azimuth and elevation angles. And that's how you spot something in the sky. So when we saw that and we saw what the luminaries were doing, we knew that that can only work with Earth being a virtual reality, because the atomistic material reality where everything's spinning space balls. You know, you got the little bitty itty bitty ones that you can't see, atoms. They all coalesce together and make really big balls that are floating around and in some sort of infinite space. It's a non-reality. It's not measurable. Nobody's ever had a model of that. What they do have a model of is people's circle of sight and the path of the luminaries in it. And once you get it through your head that they're actually rising from and setting from the ground, you'll know and understand for certain that you're in a virtual reality. A lot of people speculate. They have all these theories as to why we might be in a virtual reality. We like to just boil it down and show people the real proof and evidence that we are, right?
Yeah, yeah. And you can clearly see as the sun rises from beneath the horizon, from under the ground, up under cloud layers, through those cloud layers, and then above them, then above you, and then back down, descending through those cloud layers, above them, under them, and then sets into the ground. And it's observable, repeatable for everybody on Earth. We can clearly see that the ground is fixed and immovable, and that it is the luminaries that circle around us, each and every single one of the observers that is created, and cameras and everything that's actually recording anything that's happening in reality.
So I like to fight for the fixed and stationary Earth, and I go into different groups, and because of our experience, all they do is straw man the AE map and model, the Freemason New World Order pressurized pizza dome. And I say, no, we're the ones that debunked that 8 years ago. And then they say, well, show us your model. And I say, great. Yeah, we've been sharing this for the last 8 years. And I share it. And then every single one of them go, oh, that's a globe model. Right?
Yeah.
It's a globe model. And we're going to go through how it's not a globe model. In fact, I was so sick of hearing people say, oh, that's a globe model, that made this new video. And it's the response to every single time that somebody asks for a model. Then they say, oh, that's a globe model. This is the follow-up response video for that. So I hope it helps people. So if you're sharing the truth about the SBVR, the stereographic biblical virtual reality truth that we talk about, and you show somebody what the model looks like, you use the stereographic virtual reality explained video, and then they come back and they say, well, that model that they used is a globe model. This is the response for that.
Absolutely.
Right?
I say let's get right into it.
Okay.
Yeah. So just as we're getting into this, I really want everyone that's, observing, watching, paying attention, I'd like you to step outside of your cognitive bias, the things that you were told to believe, and just actually look what's on the screen, and you'll be able to see exactly what we're talking about. If you just get past, everything you've been brainwashed to believe, all the things that you try to cling to, and just look at the evidence as it's shown on the screen.
All right. I'm going to hit play. Stop me whenever you want, brother.
You got it.
Before I explain anything, I want you to notice what you are actually seeing. Do you see a sphere? Do you see curvature? Do you see something coming out of a planar surface? Can you notice how your brain wants to answer with a story it's concocting to justify this, instead of answering with what your eyes are actually showing you? This is a flat plane with no curvature. This is not a sphere. It does not wrap around anything. The elevation data goes from 0 degrees in the east to 90 degrees at peak and back to 0 degrees in the west, a total of 180 degrees. That geometry defines a plane. The sun emerges from a plane and it sets back into that same plane.
So let's just get a pause. Okay, everybody that's watching, we're looking at a bird's eye view here. That's what this is called. You're looking down at the ground. or here from this angle, what do we actually see?
Yeah.
Do we see curvature?
Here's the tool.
Look at that. When you go
it's a plane.
a plane.
You see how it just goes to a line when you line it up?
But on that plane, you then have a hemisphere traced around the center of the plane. So the observer in this model is standing at the very center. It happens to be a building. And it's showing that the sun travels perfectly around that spot.
Yeah, so you can hit play on this, and there it tracks the path of the sun. Over here, you have azimuth and altitude. And those are the two measurements that you need in order to spot anything in your circle of sight. So the azimuth is the compass heading. You're going to get that in degrees. And then the altitude is degrees measured off of a plane, where when we take this to, when the sun comes up from that plane, see right now it's at 0.06 degrees. So it's just right there. The measurement, if I go back a second, that becomes a minus. So it switches at 0. It's 0 at the horizon here. When it goes straight overhead, it reaches the zenith of 90 degrees, and then it comes back down to 0. So all the measurements that you see in this tool just go from 0 to 90 to 0, which is 180. There is no more measurements here. They're all negative below the plane.
Exactly.
If you're still picturing a spinning globe right now, that image is not coming from this model. It's an assumption you brought with you. In the standard space model, the sun's diameter is about 109 Earth diameters, and the sun's distance from Earth is about 11,750 Earth diameters, what we usually call 93 million miles. An object that is 109 Earths wide and 11,750 Earths away does not rise out of the ground, and it does not set into the ground. What you're looking at here is not a cosmic model. It is a local observer-centric rendering. The ground is fixed. The observer is fixed. The sky rotates as time changes. This is not how an atomistic material universe behaves.
So let's get a pause. Again, so what we're saying is that the data here that's being represented in the model, what does it show? It doesn't have any, it clearly shows the distances in the scales are local, right? The local observer-centric rendering. The ground itself is completely fixed, and it is the luminaries that are rotating.
Yeah, so if this sun right here, if this was a heliocentric model, what would we have to have?
The Earth spinning
this?
and the sun also traveling through the quote unquote galaxy, but the Earth would be spinning and the sun would be staying still, right? We would be turning around and it would be, oh, there it goes. And then we turn back around and, oh, there it is again. But that is not what's being represented. So anybody that comes out and says, oh, this is a globe model, they are absolutely bold-faced lying to you.
Yeah, because their only measurement of anything moving in here is the sun, right? The Earth is fixed and stationary. This doesn't move. The observer does not move. If this was a globe model, you would have to have a sun 93 million miles away out here. And then this would have to be a sphere. And then you would have to have all the rotational data. You need the speed of the rotation, the direction it's going, the whole orbit and all that. And you would have all these different measurements. We're going to be getting into them, the 6 DOFs, and they're essential.
The 6 degrees of freedom. Yeah, you need them, right? We got the X, Y, Z, the pitch, the roll, and the yaw. We're going to get into that. It's, this is something that everybody is going to have to wrap their minds around, right? And, plainly plant their feet on the ground and understand these things. So you'll really understand how this is absolutely not a globular model.
Not.
It's not.
This is how a 3D rendering system behaves. Yeah, so all the different tools that we're using now, things like SketchUp for 3D modeling. We use Motion for video graphics and stuff like that. When you have a 3D model, you get an XYZ coordinate system. You have a camera, you have lighting, and you have perspective, right? So all those things are parts of a 3D rendering system, and it all matches exactly. And they don't have any models that actually show a heliocentric model at all.
None.
Now we stop talking about visuals and talk about what a model actually is. Any object claimed to be moving through three-dimensional space must be described by something called a 6 degree of freedom state vector. 3 degrees describe position x, y, z. 3 degrees describe orientation, roll, pitch, yaw. And if the object is really moving, the model must also include velocity, acceleration, angular velocity, and angular acceleration. This is not optional. Without this data, motion does not exist in the model. These are the models we refer to as... Let's go back here just a second. And so we've got the 6 degrees of freedom that we need you to understand completely. You have to lock this in because these are the essential things for a model to exist. If you don't have these, and if you don't have the different speed measurements for movement, you don't have a model of anything moving. So you can see with something simple, just like an airplane flying like this, that you need to have all these different datas in order to be able to map the position of the airplane in 3D space, right?
Yeah, you've got velocity, acceleration, you've got angular velocity, and you've got angular acceleration. You've got the pitch, the roll, and the yaw, the X, Y, and the Z. It's clearly observable, measurable, and it's data. It's there. You can see the plane move, and you can see it rating and judging that information. It's calculating it. It's reading it. If you don't have information, it doesn't matter how smart somebody sounds to you, how many algebra definitions they can come up with on a chalkboard. If it's not there, it does not exist. And anybody that tries to tell you any different is just trying to fool you.
Yeah, so websites will explain this for you. The 6 degrees of freedom, a common concept used in machinery, robotics, manufacturing, 3D modeling, video game design, vehicles. You have to have all this information. The XYZ is your position. That tells you left, right, forward, backward, up and down. That's the 3 things that you need to locate something in 3-dimensional space. And then you can have 3 different types of orientations. You can have pitch, roll, and what was the other one? Yaw, right? So on each one of these axes, you can twist them. And those are the 6 different movements that define anything's position. If you don't have them, you haven't defined something's position, right?
Therefore, it's static.
Let's want to show how ChatGPT here, when I was putting together the video, it said that these are the essential things. I wanted to have all my I's dotted, my T's crossed. And so this is the required data to track an object moving in 3D space. You have the 6 degree of freedom state, right? We've been talking about that. Now, motion. These are the things that you have to have if you have motion in the model. And that is linear velocity. That's the rate of change of position. Linear acceleration, that's the rate of change of velocity. Angular velocity, that's the rate of change of orientation. Angular acceleration, that's the rate of change of angular velocity. And here's the big kicker, right? This is the one that anybody that wants to contradict this video, the reference frame requirement, non-optional. So all the above must be defined relative to a specified reference frame. All right. So if you're going to track the position of Earth, you have to have some sort of a reference point. They say it's this huge universe. So let's say everything exploded out from a big bang. You have to give the exact X, Y, Z coordinates of, let's say, the Big Bang, the epicenter of that. And then you have to give everything in relation to that. Every single measurement has to go back to one same reference frame. And what the heliocentric model has is no reference frame, which means no motion is being tracked. They won't give you any sort of reference frame to anything. They'll say, oh, Earth's reference frame. Well, how do you track the motion of Earth through space if you're using Earth as the reference frame? Right? It's impossible.
Yeah. Backwards.
So the minimum complete motion state vector, these are the things that have to be there if there is motion. That's it. There's
Simple.
no question about it.
Yeah.
Does not exist in the model. These are the models we refer to as our models, not because we built them, but because they only function if Earth is fixed and stationary and the luminaries rise from a plane and set back into that same plane. That is not the claim made by spinning spaceball models, and that distinction matters. The model we rely on most is the Andrew Marsh 3D Sun Simulator. This is the fixed and stationary plane version, the version engineers actually use. It is used for solar panel alignment, building heat load calculations, and precise shadow studies. It outputs solar azimuth and altitude data accurate to hundredths of a degree per second. It predicts shadow length, direction, intensity, and movement at every moment. All of this is calculated on a fixed and stationary plane. If I press play...
So where's Earth's XYZ position in the data?
Yeah, this right here should have a list of the XYZ position in three-dimensional space in relation to a reference frame.
Yeah.
And then it would have to have a list of, I think, 5 different motions that are required.
Yeah, well, just show me the orbital velocity of Earth. Where is it in the data? If it's a globe model, any of the proponents out there that think they're on a spinning space sphere, show me the data. Where is it? So what it does do, right? It shows completely that it's a engineering grade tool, right? On a fixed and stationary plane, highly accurate shadow positions. So if you want to create solar panels or have windows in your home and you want it lit correctly, you're going to input this data of a fixed stationary plane with the sun at its position above you, depending where you are, plop down on a flat map, right? Not on a sphere. You don't put this model on the side of a sphere and zoom in. You can't. There's no sphere where you can zoom in and it'll show you that data because it falls apart because it does not exist.
Yeah, absolutely. So just so everybody understands, with this simple Andrew Marsh tool, you can import your own 3D model, boom, pop it in there, hit play, and you can see the exact path of the sun.
Yeah.
Where if you have windows,
A garden, you want to put a garden?
The way the shadows line up, it's exact.
Yeah, you hit play on it, but you can't right now because you're talking. But you see the shadow elongate in certain areas. You'd know, well, if I want to plant something that has, needs shade for a certain amount of hours of the day, you can literally calculate it with this tool. This tool is not giving you any globe data. It's not giving you any curvature. It's not giving you any of Earth's velocities and any of the different angles. It doesn't show the, elongated path around the sun, supposedly with the Earth slowing down and speeding up. No, it shows you a fixed stationary plane. Look where the sun's positioned. Look at where the sun is in front of us, ladies and gentlemen. How far away is that? It's just like 4 miles, 3 miles away.
It's right at the edge of your circle of sight, which is defined by your height.
Your elevation.
Your height, your elevation.
Simple.
I get precise solar position data for any location on Earth, any day of the year. There is complete data for a sun moving relative to an observer on a fixed plane. and there is zero data for Earth translating, rotating, or accelerating through space. Where is Earth's XYZ position? Where is Earth's orbital velocity? Where is Earth's acceleration? Where is Earth's rotation state? Where is Earth's angular velocity? It isn't there. Now, this same fixed Earth solar model was also visualized on the side of a spinning spaceball. This is the version spinning spaceball advocates point to. The calculation layer did not change. This is the same data visualization and data from the fixed and stationary plane version of the tool. The rotating globe.
Let's make this very simple. What they've done is they've taken the actual observable flat plane model that Jason has in the other tab. Show that other model again. Let's really slow this down. They've taken this plane and they just plop it on the side of the sphere, and the plane itself isn't curving around the Earth anymore. It's still protruding off the edges of the sphere, like bending, not bending with the curve. Right.
Yeah, so
as
if
soon as
we
you scale it,
let's
you'll see people, oh no, this is a great Earth model. But first off, there's so many things wrong with it. The very first, go ahead.
Let's first show here that so at the smallest scale, that if I bring this down here to a small scale,
get as close as we can. Can we see the buildings in the shadows anymore?
no, you just pop through.
Oh, now we're inside the concave.
This is as close as you can get right here.
That's it. Here's your globe
it's
model, everybody.
about 175 miles.
See, there's a reason why Jason's not using this model to explain the way we observe reality, because it does not exist.
So at this scale, they still have it coming out of Earth, coming around, and setting back into Earth. That's the data is to this little red dot here, not to something else. This is so you have your azimuth and your altitude to this dot right here, the one that's going around. And then as we bring up the scale on this,
it's where it gets even worse, really bad.
So now you can start to see that they only have the data.
Look at this.
All right. They took this right here,
the accurate data,
and they put it out here. Now, as you change the time of day, once it gets to this point right here, this is why we're saying
it's setting still up in the air.
There's only data for 180 degrees, the plane of this circle right here. And now all of a sudden it's giving negative measurements.
It's gone below, but it's still above.
So, and this is all space between this point here and this point here that you should have all this negative data, and then it crashes
into the Earth. So
crashes into the Earth.
What this is a classic example of the stolen concept fallacy, right? Where you take something that's true, right? That's reality that you can observe, and then you put it into another version of reality that's not observable, not real. They steal it. This is what people who lie and deceive do.
And then since we have this set up right now, I'll show everybody. This is when we go max scale. This is absolute max scale here. And now you can see that here we have all this. After this, there's, it's all the negative data, and it just literally circles
right around, map, right?
Right around a person right here. The sun is circling around that person. That's what the data is for. When you look at these numbers, it's to this red dot, not to something off in imaginary 93 million mile away land. Right?
Yes.
So that's a huge fail. That's the data from this right here.
Is a visualization layer added on top. As time moves, the data is still only sun azimuth and elevation. There is zero data for Earth's motion. At small scales, roughly 175 miles in radius, you can clearly see the sun rising from Earth and setting back into Earth. As scale increases, the visualization begins to fail in worse ways. We see large regions of negative horizon elevation. The data only exists for 180 degrees. At this point, we see the sun crashing into the side of Earth as it rotates around the observer. At maximum scale, you can clearly see the sun's path is centered on the observer. Even though the sun is making it around Earth without crashing into it now, it is clearly not a sun 93 million miles away. Keep in mind, it is
I'm going to ask this one more time, okay? If scaling cannot be shown, how is it being claimed that it's a spherical model? How?
They just say it.
It's a lie.
You expect nobody to challenge them on it.
And then say, oh, it's you guys who don't have the model. You guys are the liars, right? When it's literally them doing it. That's one of the oldest tricks in the book. If you cannot show us to scale a working model of your globe, Earth reality, spinning all the different accelerations, the sun
to
moving
scale. Remember,
to scale,
a model
scale.
has to be to scale.
You can't just make it like this and put the sun local spinning around the Earth. Oh, look, it works, right? You'll have globe Earth proponents put this model on the screen and say, this is reality. Look at how close the sun is to the Earth here. They got a blue line pointed to something out that's impossible to see. The stars that are around it, they're fixed. They're not even any of those are accurate as the wandering stars. None of them are anything that we can observe in reality. This is a made up non-reality.
Yeah, we'll stop and we'll show that when that comes up here quick.
Impossible to show Earth and Sun together to scale. If Earth were just 1 centimeter wide, the Sun would need to be displayed over 387 feet away. And to show just the solar system,
all right, so this is the world's largest TV HD screen. The Jaguars have a 320-foot long HD screen, and you need 387 feet. Where if on one side of this screen Earth was 1 centimeter, right, the screen has to be 387 feet in order to have the sun out here to scale. All right, so if this is the world's largest screen, nobody's ever seen a to scale depiction of this is just the sun and Earth.
Yeah,
we're not talking about anything else.
Yeah, we're not talking about going to Mars or the Oort cloud or anything else, Jupiter or any of these other different luminaries that they call planets. We're just talking about the distance from the Earth to the sun. They still don't even have a screen large enough to even display it. And even if it was, you'd have to zoom in forever. You said 1 millimeter, the Earth.
1 centimeter.
Centimeter. That's just preposterous. The preponderance of evidence is completely against any spherical model being reality in any shape, way, or form.
Well, here's the thing. That's just the sun and Earth. Now I'm going to give the stats for if you wanted to show just Earth's solar system. That's Earth out past the Oort clouds that they say are out there. Check out the size screen you would need.
Past the Oort cloud at the same scale, the screen would need to be approximately 7,300 miles across. There is
what?
How about that? Yeah,
7,300 miles.
Mm-hmm.
That's larger than North America.
That's if Earth was 1 centimeter.
And Earth was 1 centimeter. So come on, everybody. This is what they do when they tell a lie so grand, so big that you can't even decipher it. You can't even model it. You can't even begin to fathom these different sizes and scales. You know you're being duped. You know, how long is it going to take for most people to realize? Now, there are a large amount of people that have come to understand that the heliocentric Big Bang version of reality is not real. But we're going to continue to break these things down piece by piece. Jason's doing an excellent job. I would say we're halfway through 7 minutes. We should probably take another song break. Not only are we going to break it down each and every week, we're out here, we bring you new music. And you know what there's been a resurgence in. So for a lot of the times, if you've been following along for the past, decade, we have a small yet dedicated team. We got the Goldsmith. We got the connection. What he does, he looks for music. We find stuff. So there's synthwave. So the 80s sort of made a resurgence. But now we're trying to bring more of a psychedelic vibe back. Now, I grew up listening to psychedelic music. It was just on all the time. I know just about every song, every word that was ever written. And I'm excited. I really enjoy psychedelic music. And I know, Jason, I know you do. And now we've got the digital aspect where they're able to do different types of things. And I'm really excited to have more of psychedelic rock vibes coming in, Jason. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm a fan of it. But I got really sick and tired of the 60s and 70s, that version of it. So I'm ready for the new version.
Absolutely.
Let's check it out.
So who should I say is calling? Don't hang up, stay on the line. We got a problem that we need to define. I'm a tyrant, I'm a dragon, I'm the base of the spine. A flesh-loving man, yeah, I'm a hell of a time. Who should I say is calling? The grown-ups are talking. The grown-ups are talking. Don't hang up the best of your man. I'm the gesture of love. I'm the crease in your pants. I'm a bit of you that makes the water fade. So pray to me, boy, 'cause I'm a hell of a saint. So who should I say is calling? The grown-ups are talking. The grown-ups are talking. The grown-ups are talking. Don't hang up the phone. Don't put me on hold. Don't hang up the phone. Don't put me on hold. Don't hang up, don't put me on hold. We made this together, I'm the source of your gold. And I see you all shining, all covered in glory. 'Cause when it suits you, I'm the king in the storm. So who should I say is calling? The grown-ups are talking. Say what you want, 'cause I got you now. Say what you want, 'cause I got you
Who's calling, brother?
Who's calling the truth? Let's get back into this.
Yeah, so where we were, heliocentric model cannot even be shared. It's unshareable. Unshareable.
It's crazy.
Has never been and never will be a communicable two-scale heliocentric model. And none of this even addresses the missing 6 degrees of freedom data. If everything were moving, accelerating, and diverging through space, paths would never repeat. Yet they do perfectly. Look,
Let's just think about this, everybody. This is what they say happened. So all this is spreading out in all directions. So no path's ever going to repeat. Yet the models that we have, you can just click year by year by year by year by year, and it's always exactly the same. None of the fixed stars change position in relation to each other ever.
Yeah.
No movement.
How could you have an explosion? Just show me a small sample, make something explode, right? Film it, and then have concentric circling universe or solar systems create itself. It's just like the whole theory of evolution again, right? Like a tornado could sweep through a junkyard and create a completely fully working 747. It's just crazy. Everything that science tries to tell us is true. That we can clearly see that we cannot observe is not true. Again, Jason, your point again is epic. It really needs to be looked at in just such a simple term. Explosion creating everything, turning into complete clockwork.
And
No.
everything is going out and away.
Mm-hmm.
No paths are the same. Never trace a step ever. How could you have a model that you would have to be calculating everything all the time, right? Nothing would repeat ever.
It's crazy to think that anything would repeat.
Paths would never repeat, yet they do perfectly. Look, these background stars are non-dynamic. There is no measured North Star, no celestial South Pole, no moving constellations, no...
All right, let's go check this out. So here's the Spaceball version of the Andrew Marsh, where they took the data that's real and usable, tried to stick it onto the side of a ball, and put a sun 93 million miles away. Well, obviously, this isn't to scale. You would need 200 or 387 foot television if this Earth was just a centimeter to see the sun. So this is not to scale. And look, everything's just fixed. Nothing's moving here.
No, they're just art.
They're just artwork. If I hit play,
Decorations.
what'll happen is the Earth will spin.
No, the sun is spinning. Not even
The sun is spinning. Sun is
still in their globe model. It doesn't accurately represent reality. It still has the sun spinning around the Earth. So it's a geocentric sphere of reality too. On top of that,
yeah, that's going to be coming up. So they have a fixed and stationary sun that they have an Earth spinning.
now we got the Earth spinning. There you go. You found there's their complete. And this doesn't work either when you measure rise and set angles of the sun. This falls really apart.
But as you can see here, this is a fixed and stationary sun.
And
it
the sun
does not
isn't
move.
traveling through the galaxy, quote unquote, right? The
And
Milky Way.
There's no data in relation. So you would need the 6 DOFs, right, for the sun. You would need the all the motions of the sun. You would have to have that data in reference to a fixed reference frame. And then you would have to have that for every single other thing in this entire model.
It's 2026. They've had, it's been known for thousands of years that the Earth is a giant spinning sphere flying through outer space, chasing another giant spinning sphere. They would have all of the data. It's simple to measure anything that is observable and measurable. We have the technology and the ability to measure and calculate all of it. And if you don't have the data, if you don't have the tool to measure it, don't come to tell me, oh, look at this pendulum or, some stupid cut apart experiment like Cavendish measuring 2 lead balls in his shed. None of that stuff actually works.
So there is no Polaris. There is no Sigma octans. There's the ecliptic. How about the 12 constellations of the ecliptic? Nope. Absolutely nothing.
Couldn't put it in.
Well, what they did is they took the model that we use.
They stole the actual observable representable model.
And they stuck it on the side of a ball, and they put that in motion around a fixed and stationary sun.
It's crazy.
That is what they did.
And they say, this is a globe model. Yeah, okay. Keep telling yourself those lies.
6 degree of freedom telemetry for any star. They are decoration, not calculated objects. There is something this model shows very clearly, The sun is not moving in this model. The sun is fixed and stationary. And this is the strongest model spinning spaceball advocates can point to. Now let's move on to two more models that we openly claim as ours, SunCalc and MoonCalc. These tools are often presented as simple visual aids, but they are doing something very specific. They calculate the azimuth and altitude of the sun and moon relative to a fixed observer. What you are seeing here is a top-down orthographic view of the same solar geometry used in the Andrew Marsh 3D Sun Simulator. The difference is perspective, not calculation. With SunCalc, it's impossible to zoom out far enough to avoid.
Can you please turn, where are we at? SunCalc? Are we at MoonCalc?
Yeah.
We're at SunCalc. Can you please turn it on to the sphere version of this, please? I'd like to see the globe Earth model with the data.
SunCalc?
Yeah, you have to do a refresh. It's not loading. Can you turn it into a sphere, please, and show me the data? How about MoonCalc? Let's start off with SunCalc. I'd like you to show me the spherical version of the program. Because everybody claims, like some guy, oh, they've measured the radius, huh? Oh yeah, that proves that the Earth is they've taken a mathematical measurement and that in the code, oh, that means that it's a spherical. Well, show it to me as a sphere. I guess it's not loading, huh?
Yeah.
It's
Can't even.
Did you click on it?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So can you zoom out and show me the spherical version of this? Because right now I see like a Mercator map on a fixed and stationary plane. Oh,
So
there's the eclipse there they got.
I can zoom in like this.
Okay, there's the close in. That's observable. That looks like something I could actually see. I've seen myself from a plane and
sure.
Zoom out, please. Show me the sphere version.
This is the sphere version.
What? Where's the curvature? Where's the spinning Earth flying through outer space with all the different luminaries spinning around it? Show us.
No, it's literally impossible to go out far enough to be able to see the sun not rise from a fixed and stationary plane.
Oh, okay. That's quite telling.
Yeah, so at the grandest scale it goes, you can clearly see it come rise and set into a plane. Now, this is all the exact same data right here as the Andrew Marsh. It's azimuth and altitude data, except this is just the top-down perspective of this. So if I take this,
they're showing the map.
They're showing the map.
That's it.
The map's over here on this one. So I can zoom in on this.
So here's another question. When we go back to SunCalc, can you show me Earth's motion? Where's the data on the side there where it shows Earth's velocity, angular velocity?
See, I can drag around on here, but there's absolutely no movement of Earth other than me changing my position on a flat plane.
I see dawn, sunrise, sunset, dusk, daylight. Where is the Earth's motion in the data?
The only motion is the sun.
The sun. The sun's supposedly, we're spinning around it. How is this a globe model? It doesn't talk about the globe in any shape, way, or form, or have any data for it, except the only part of the data that they use is the distance from one side of the flat map to the other.
Yeah, let's we're gonna come over to Austin here, and I can show you realistic scale that with the hills and the viewpoints that you can see around here, you can verify that you might be able to see about 20 miles in some best case situations around here. And so if you pick a day of the year, this is February 13th, Friday the 13th. This is exactly right here.
Okay, Jason.
Exactly right here where the sun will be rising. If you were downtown Austin and you're looking out here, boom, that is exactly where it rises. And then you watch it. This will give you over here your altitude, 46.42 degrees. When you're looking south, it's going to be at that angle in the sky. And then it's going to come around here and set literally into the ground right there.
So the question is, again, the trillion-dollar question. Can a model contain information and data that it doesn't have, that does not exist?
Yeah, no.
It can't, right? So if a model has no data for something, it does not exist.
Yeah, so there is no movement here other than the sun. That's it.
Period.
Period.
Seen the sun rise from a plane and set back into that same plane. The sun does not emerge from behind a curved surface. It rises into view within an observer's circle of sight, reaches peak altitude, and then sets back into the plane. This motion is entirely contained within the observer's circle of sight. For most people, that circle is realistically about 20 miles or less.
So I want to bring up Stellarium here and show everybody about our circle of sight. And so like we've been saying, azimuth and altitude, these are the two numbers that you need to get a measurement for anything that you have. Now, when you're standing out someplace where you got some distance to the horizon and you look around you and do a full circle in 360 degrees, this is the sky around you. You have a set distance that you can see to the horizon. That's based on your elevation. Now, if you look at the sky above you, this makes like a half sphere. All right, you're on a plane. You can only see a certain distance, and that includes even up. All right, so the trick that's been played on mankind is they expect, well, if you're looking low, there's a lot of air that's blocking, but if you're looking up, you can see trillions of miles.
Yeah.
Trillions of miles. Well, no, angular resolution cuts off it's based on the size of something. You can literally go straight up high enough on Earth where you wouldn't be able to see Earth looking down because of angular resolution.
Yeah. So exactly. It's clear. So let's look at this program. This is a quote unquote supposedly globe model. Can you show me the side of the sphere with the luminaries rotating around the Earth in this model, please?
You want it in motion?
I'd like you to show me that we were on the side of a sphere. I'd like to see the curvature in the sphere, and then I would like to see the luminaries rotating around us.
Oh, funny guy.
You can't.
No,
It doesn't work.
What you can do is you can turn off the ground.
Let's turn off the ground. Let's see what we can observe. What does this show us?
And then if I hit play here,
Mm-hmm.
let's speed up the motion.
What is it showing? It's literally showing, right? Celestials, bodies, luminaries, lights in the sky rotating around us where we're positioned on a map. It's not showing a sphere. We're not standing upside down or sideways or looking around the edge of a curved sphere.
So
we're on a flat plane with everything rotating around us. Go ahead.
So now that I took off the ground here, I'm going to switch from this this grid to this grid. And now you're going to be able to see that, so I'm looking north, this is Polaris, and if I rotate around here, you're going to see that
Sun's rising.
So here's sigma octans down here, that's below the horizon, but this is rotating like a drum around the observer, and this contains all the fixed stars, all the wandering stars, everything within a person's circle of sight, right? It's literally rotating around you, the observer.
Well, yeah, where's the Earth's rotation data in the modeling?
There is none.
There's none?
No, Earth is fixed and stationary in this model. There's no movement.
Let's talk about where's the hidden R value that you hear all these, oh, I'm a genius globular modeling scientist. I went to university. There's a hidden R value supposedly in all these different programs, right?
Yeah, that'll be coming up in the video. That's real easy to back engineer. Very easy. You just take the width of Earth at the equator and you turn that into a circumference in an imaginary world.
Yeah, there's no actual.
That'll give you an R value.
There's no evidence of the R value. It's just made up.
That should be coming up soon here.
Yes, when these models are viewed at realistic observational scales, the geometry becomes obvious. The sun rises from the plane, it moves across the sky, and it sets back into the plane. MoonCalc does the same thing, but for the moon. It calculates lunar azimuth and altitude relative to a fixed.
So it's just those two measurements again, just azimuth and altitude. Show you one more time in Stellarium here that if we go to this grid, all right, this is what you can see in your circle of sight. You turn around 360 degrees. This shows you the stars rotating around you, the observer, on a fixed and stationary plane. And these stars up here are not like trillions of miles away. You can only see about 20 miles or so total, and they're rotating around you, the observer.
Yeah, we can't see too far. That was another. So when they brought out the fake flat Earth movement, they brought out with a fake map, with a fake reality, and then fake observations that were easily debunkable. They set it up in such a way that they would go to do their Antarctic expedition and they would show the sun circling above the observer. But lo and behold, Jason and I were a decade before them. We were beyond fake flat Earth long before them, and we showed that this is what they were going to do, and the fact that they didn't even go to the actual South Pole, because that would have showed that Earth doesn't have a tilt, and they would have debunked the entire thing. And we're going to continue to bang home on it, but let's keep going.
Observer. Just like SunCalc, it's impossible to expand the view in a way that turns this into a spinning spaceball model. The moon rises from a plane, it reaches peak altitude, and it sets back into that same plane. SunCalc and MoonCalc calculate luminary position. They calculate azimuth. They calculate altitude. They calculate rise time and set time. They do not calculate Earth's motion. No Earth XYZ position. No Earth orbital velocity. No Earth acceleration. No Earth rotation state. No Earth angular velocity. Spinning spaceball advocates often claim that SunCalc and MoonCalc are secretly globe models, but a model cannot be something it does not calculate. If Earth's motion is not present as data, then Earth's motion does not exist in the model. These tools only work if Earth is fixed and stationary and the luminaries move relative to an observer. SunCalc and MoonCalc are not independent curiosities. They are consistent with the Andrew Marsh model. All three calculate the same thing: luminary motion around a fixed observer on a motionless plane. And when multiple independent tools used by engineers, developers, and astronomers all require the same assumptions to function, those assumptions are not accidental. The biggest model of all that we use and openly claim as ours is Stellarium. Andrew Marsh tracks the sun. SunCalc tracks the sun. MoonCalc tracks the moon. But when we want to know where any other luminary is at any given time, we use Stellarium. Spinning spaceball advocates insist Stellarium is their model. But that claim collapses the moment you examine what the model is actually calculating. When you turn off the ground in Stellarium, you can clearly see exactly what is happening. The luminaries rotate around an observer positioned on a motionless plane. As time changes, the only data changing is azimuth and altitude relative to the observer. There is no 6 degree of freedom data for Earth in Stellarium. No Earth XYZ position, no Earth orbital velocity, no Earth acceleration, no Earth rotation state, no Earth angular velocity. Only the sun, moon, and wandering stars change position. All other stars remain in exactly the same positions relative to each other. For those of you with good spatial awareness, you will immediately understand that for that to occur, Earth cannot be in motion.
Yeah, so if Earth were in motion, there would be parallax.
Yeah.
It's impossible for there not to be parallax all the time, everywhere. You would have things nearer you would have things farther away from you, and those things would move at different rates when you're looking at them. So there is no parallax this sky rotates around without any of these fixed stars ever changing their position relative to each other. The spacing, it's always exactly the same, except for the sun, moon, and wandering stars.
Yeah, and just so happens that it was created in such a way that you can actually trace out different characters. The one on the screen just happens to be a lion with a crab holding on pincers of the sun at this moment in time, with the lion chasing it, looking down upon the sun. I mean, this just happened by chance that these different houses, these different symbols, this different story that's being told from one end of the earth to the other just magically, just by accident happened.
And
Come
it's
on.
the same as 2,000 years ago,
Yeah.
except for a little precession of the equinox. But other than that, it's the exact same constellations.
The
right?
lion hasn't morphed into some like other scimitar or alligator or something else. It's still the lion. It's still exactly where it's always been. There's a little bit of a precession of the equinox, which shows the different speeds of the different luminaries, which actually is how we can calculate time. We need that in the model. The accuracy, the level of intelligence that created and designed this is beyond anything that we're capable of fathoming right now. Jason's definitely scratching the surface really well. You do a great job, Jason, and everyone tuning in. We're all being lifted up and we're learning together. But we're almost to the end. I just really want to point out that, it just so happens the creator made it look like the animals that are on the earth that are traveling and circling around each of us. And then we're born in these different spots and we can then observe them and we can pay attention to it, just by accident.
Some claim a hidden R value exists within the code of these tools improves a globe. That value is back engineered from the measured width of the equator.
So,
Go ahead.
no, you, please.
So you're always going to have somebody like a McToon or somebody that's going to come along and say, oh, there's an R value within the program.
That's their claim.
Yeah, so Earth has a set width at the equator. That measurement right there, all the globers have done is they've turned that into a circumference in order to come up with an R value. So the width is a real measurement at the equator. The R value is something that they calculated for because they want to say that we're on a spinning ball.
Exactly. But let's break it down even more simple. When you create a video game or a realm or anything, when you build anything, you create a space. It has boundaries on it, right? And the highest level of creation is a space with boundaries that you can observe. It leaves you free to search around and not to be confined to anything, which gives a much healthier environment. So all you need here is the length of the line from left to right, and that's the distance that the sun travels. There's no other, you'll get fake flat earthers. We go beyond the ice walls and all. There's no evidence. There's no anything. We are only talking about what is observable here. You got the one side of the line to the other, half of that line, and then you say, oh, because half of that line is this distance, that makes the program a sphere model.
Yeah, see, having the R value in here is nothing compared to all the data that would have to be there.
Where's the data?
The X, Y, Z, the 6 DOFs, and the 5 different motions that you would have to have, all against an absolute reference frame. If you didn't have that, you don't have motion.
It's not real. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, you can't prove it. All you can do is assume it and come up with nonsense fairy tale realities.
And you need that information for every single thing that you have in the model. Everything. All against an absolute reference frame.
Exactly.
And it does nothing to solve the missing 6 degrees of freedom data problem. If Stellarium were a real heliocentric model, you could click on any object and retrieve its 6 degree of freedom state vector. That data does not exist. So yes, Stellarium is one of our models, not because we built it, but because it only works if Earth is fixed and stationary and the luminaries move around an observer within a defined circle of sight. Where is Earth's XYZ position? Where is Earth's orbital velocity? Where is Earth's acceleration? Where is Earth's rotation state? Where is Earth's angular velocity? If this information does not exist in relation to an absolute reference frame, it cannot be claimed as a spinning spaceball model. A model cannot be a spinning spaceball model if the spin does not exist as data. If the sun were 109 Earth diameters wide and 11,750 Earth diameters away, what exactly is it rising out of right here? We are not using spinning spaceball models. Those do not exist, and due to the scales involved, are impossible to communicate. We are using observer-centric renderers that do not contain 6 independent degrees of freedom for a moving Earth. If the motion isn't in the math, it's not in the model. These and all other models that show the luminaries rising from and setting into a plane in an observer's circle of sight are models that show how the luminaries work in a 3D rendered virtual reality framework, not in an infinitely expanding spaceball framework. These are our models, not spinning spaceballers' models.
Excellent. Well done. Well put together. Like models show the luminaries' motion. Our models. We're not showing the Earth's spin flying through the galaxy, flying through the universe, right? The solar system to the galaxy to the universe. No, we're showing a local luminary circling around an observer on a fixed plane time and time again.
Yeah, I just saw this one posted within a flat earther Telegram group, and so this guy here 7 years ago says he made a program
a little
that
simulation here using Visual Python. This represents the sun, the yellow dot. The white dot here represents the moon. Here's the flat Earth. This is our apparent experience of the Earth and the.
he said flat Earth, apparent experience of the Earth,
Yeah.
and then when you hit play
Well,
on it,
it's the observer.
guess what happens?
Here. Sort of a downward look on it. Okay. The sun is going to be spiraling around and around until it gets down to this low point, like over here. This would be the winter solstice. Right now,
So this is the full path of the sun, and he's got it rising from a plane, setting into a plane in a person's circle of sight. Another way this is visualized is like with a tool like this. We can add a bunch of stars, hit animate, and all of these models here, they show a person in their circle of sight here with the cardinal directions, and then they show the azimuth and altitude of the luminaries rotating around the observer.
Every one of them.
Every single one of them.
It's simple. The creator that created this creation is a brilliant man, or spirit being of simplicity, right? It doesn't need to be complicated. When people start to do that, they are lying to you.
Yeah, it's every single tool does the same thing. It shows a person's circle of sight, and it has the luminaries rising from and setting into the plane.
Yeah,
every single one of them.
The core rule. Go ahead.
Fixed observer. This isn't moving. Right? There's no calculations of Earth's spin here.
Nope.
Calculations of the sun moving about a galaxy. None of those calculations. Nope.
If motion isn't in the math, it's not in the model. Right?
Simple.
This is not anti-science. Okay. Right. This is model analysis. We're just simply looking at the different models, the way we observe reality. We line it up with what we actually see. You can go outside with the sextant and measure the sun's position, the rise and set angle. Listen, we do that. We film it all. We use the P1000s and the drones. We've observed it. We're going to continue to. And this is what we love to do. Like, I want to challenge you, the audience. Go and find Earth's state vector. Show us the different movements of the Earth. Show us the pitch, the roll, the yaw, the different movements, the speed up, slow down throughout the year, the elliptical orbit. Show us the data. Show us in a model that's calculated, and not some, fake make-believe model where they steal the concept from an actual observer with a local rendered sun revolving around an observer on a flat and motionless plane stuck to the side of a sphere. Show us the actual information where it calculates all the different movements. Beg you.
Yeah. This one's the one that the engineers, the solar guys all use, that the measurements are just for a plane from 0 to 90 to 0 again.
Yep.
There is no negative horizon data, and the speed of the sun around the observer is always constant. That never changes.
Yeah.
And if you were to take pictures of it, at the same time every day across a year, you'll see it. Analemma. Right?
Get that.
There's the path of the analemma. So
it's these models. The reason we say they're ours is because we are the ones that say we live inside of a virtual reality, and that this is the way that it was programmed, right? It was programmed to do this. Like, and we do line it up with actual biblical texts, like the Book of Enoch completely explains how the sun works in this program. Like, it literally has the 6 gates. You can see the broken up sections of the circling sun, and it goes through 6 different sections, 6 on the east and 6 in the west. And you've got the fake flat earthers that claim to be all this holier than thou, righteous this and that, and Judaizers and all the rest, and then they plop it down on a AE mappa model and it falls flat on its face. This right here is what Enoch was shown. He wrote this down. It shows the sun rising from the different 6 gates and setting into those same gates, as well as the moon. It shows the path and the time and the date and the angle, the azimuth. This does not show. Enoch did not give us Earth's angular velocity. It didn't show us the speed that the Earth would be moving through the universe. None of that is reality. And we're going to be debating this until, everybody absolutely completely understands it.
Yeah. So go to the actual site yourself. I know that on the stream it's hard to see these dotted lines right here, but there's dotted lines within this that come down here and separate out the gates that Ron was just talking about. And it's amazing, right down to the days, amount of days that it takes to go out and back. Enoch had it all labeled out. Spot on.
Yeah, no, perfectly. He wrote it down. He gave the perfect. We've shown it. We've done the streams. We've actually seen. It was like he was brought into a room. They put the screen on, and they hit play on the program that Jason's got on the screen, and they told him, write this down. Right? They actually said, get the speed pump. They printed it out for him.
Yeah.
The information in the Paleo Hebrew. And so he had the different rise set angles. And then he was able to go back into the Earth reality. And then he was able to go to the horizon. He's okay. That's the first gate. That's the second gate. That's the third gate. There's the fourth gate. We're at the equinox now. He was able to calculate it all, wrote the books down, taught all his kids so that they would understand at the correct times to do the farming and this and that. And then later on down the line, we got Moses introduced, and then we got the different festivals. And this is all calculated, including the precession of the equinox, all the movements of the luminaries, everything. The way that the sun is accompanied by the different stars, all of it, the 7 different luminaries in the sky, it was all completely mapped out way before heliocentrism was ever a thought. Heliocentrism was explained and brought in and imagined to debunk people from actually understanding that they're in this version of reality and that the creator created it and you're important and you're special. He created it for you and me, and we're supposed to investigate it. We're supposed to be here and be excited to learn about it. We're not supposed to think, oh yeah, it was a big bang. It was a godless, creatorless big bang. Everything came from nothing. YOLO, live, do as much as you can, get as much as you can, and then you die. No, you're in a everlasting, eternal experience, what we call life, and the playing field is this virtual reality. And soon enough, we're going to have so much more information given. I can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a tool for y'all. If you're trying to tell people that we're in a virtual reality and somebody wants a model, go ahead and give them the stereographic virtual reality explained video. And then when they say, oh, that model that they're using is a globe model, now you've got this video to show that there is no globe model.
No.
And even if there was, it wouldn't be communicable.
Yeah.
You you wouldn't be able to look at it and see anything that you wanted to see. The scales don't work.
They don't work. It's not like Jason, me and you, we're builders. We build things, right? We're gardeners. We garden, we build, it just is what it is. Okay. I'm a carpenter. I create things with wood. I screw them together. I cut them. I don't imagine things that aren't reality. Okay. When we look at this reality, Jason and I, as a team, and everybody in the chat and everybody that helps behind the scenes, YD, we got the Goldsmith, we got everybody. We just simply are bringing forth the actual observable evidence. That's it. We're not trying to invent something. We're not trying to carry you away to some imaginary fantasy land where you're on this infinite spinning sphere flying through outer space with water stuck to it. People are upside down. It's raining and snowing upside down. Oh, like none of that is reality. We want you to be firmly grounded in what is observable in reality. And then you can actually set out into your eternal life with actual meaning.
Yeah, we didn't make these models, but they are ours because they show exactly how the luminaries work on a fixed and stationary plane, where the luminaries are rotating around you, setting into the ground, rising from the ground in your circle of sight. And that only works in the virtual reality framework. There's no other concept of reality that has something like that, but yet it's definitely a part of, they're doing it already with the video games and the skyboxes and the way they render these things. They do it just like this, right? To match what we witness.
Yeah, they don't create an imaginary reality where you're now on some. You couldn't even show me any of these programs to turn into a sphere. The only one you could, everything was wrong. It took this version and stolen fallacy concept and slapped it on the side of a sphere. Okay, people, it's time that you hear the truth and you be, muchly improved and strengthened by it, and it filled with the information inside of you, and then you can go out and know the truth for yourself. It doesn't mean you got to take this and smash it over the head of somebody else. Just know you the truth and be built up by it.
Absolutely. Well, it's been great, brother. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we go? There is a planetary alignment coming up on the 28th, not too long from now.
I know, it's a luminary alignment, right?
Yeah, luminary alignment.
Well, planetas or planetary, the word itself, wandering star is what the actual translation of that word meant. So when you slip up and say it, I know sometimes other people say it, I jump, hey, that's not. So yeah, there's a beautiful, that's coming up February 28th. If you look to the west at sunset, after the sun sets, you're going to see a beautiful parade of the luminaries actually setting into the ground. It's going to be just wonderful. So also there's on Rumble, there's a live stream that I did last night covering all the news, North American centric, and other things worldly as well, where we go over again more great new music. There's more content on that. Couple hours if you're interested. I'll leave a link in a pinned comment or in a comment below. And also, we'll be live again on Sunday, continuing reading some more scriptures. We've been getting into this excellent extra canonical book. You are not going to want to miss that either.
Absolutely. Where's the only place people are going to get this content, brother?
Only in the All Glory to Yahushua and his news networks.